Let's begin now.
A true story based on a universal theme of hope, Rise is set to be an iconic Australian feature film written and directed by a young man who spent almost 2 years in prison after being wrongfully accused.
I didn't do it.
We'll lodge an appeal immediately.
You said 80-20 our way.
This is all hearsay evidence.
For God's sake, don't tell him what you're in for.
There are 7 further musters a day.
How long you got?
6 years?
Mr. McIntyre's first trial was a miscarriage of justice.
From looking through bars to staring down the barrel of a camera, I'd like to introduce writer and director of Rise, Mack Lindon. Thanks for joining us, Mack.
No worries, Amy. Thanks for asking me to come to Upbeat.
Now, a lot of people might not know this, that it's actually a true story. So can you rewind to 2006 and explain what happened that year?
I had a one-night stand, and basically a week later the police were at my door, and they said that she didn't want it to happen, and there was a rape charge against me. So I was a nurse at the time, registered nurse in Melbourne, and that obviously completely went down the drain, and we had a trial 18 months later. We put in an appeal straight away. I was obviously innocent. We had consensual sex, and it's very hard to prove. The nature of the charge is something that a lot of people just go down quietly for. They don't want to bring it to the press or their family, things like that. And eventually the case was heard. I got 6 years. I was sentenced for 6 years, and after about a year and a half, the Supreme Court of Victoria heard my hearing, and after a couple of days sort of battle, I guess you could call it, they quashed the conviction and ordered a retrial because they said that there was a miscarriage of justice in the first trial.
What made you want to turn the story into a film?
Stupidity, crossed a little bit of bravery, I guess. But look, I met quite a few guys inside with the same charge, and some were dubious circumstances, and I don't believe they were all guilty as well. And the landscape's changed, like I said before, with the nature of that charge. I couldn't sleep at night in my cell, and having to live the rest of my life with that over my head.
How did you find turning concepts into reality?
Hard work, very hard work. Look, we had a great core of people. We probably in total about 300 people have been involved with the making of Rise. And that goes from Martin Sachs, our headline actor, down to runners on set.
How did you get everyone to rally together, and what was the budget like?
Yeah, so it was a small budget. We made this for just shy about $500,000, just under $500,000, and that's sort of, in terms of a movie, that's nothing really. So that's a miracle in short of how we got it there. We've just come aboard with Pinnacle Films, who are helping the distribution of Rise, and so we're just, we're laughing, and the hard work's paying off.
And you make an appearance in the film. Can you tell us about your character?
I couldn't resist it. Look, I've got a bit of an acting background as well, and I do a cameo. I play Baxter.
Didn't rape her. We were drunk. We had sex. I left.
Why would she cry rape?
Turned out she wanted her boyfriend back. His best mate saw us getting on.
Didn't your mother ever tell you not to have sex before you were married?
How did you get a high calibre of actors on board?
Martin Sachs, I've admired him from a young boy. I thought he would play Jimmy Cove perfectly, and I approached his agent, and she got onto me and said, look, he's happy to catch up. We caught up in a cafe, and I think after about 2 or 3 hours he was in. He just loved the story. And Nathan Wilson, he's a QUT graduate. He's pretty much fresh out, but we saw something in him too. I went and watched their end play. There was that X factor.
How do you feel about sharing your personal story with the world?
I'm ready, so that's good. You obviously go through a process of realising that people are going to know you as that and judge you as that or not judge you as that. But really, at the end of the day, what people think about me is not my business. I'm passionate now about storytelling, and I think it's a powerful medium for society. So I think Rise is really going to encourage a lot of people. I mean, if audiences can come out of the cinema and be encouraged with whatever they're going through, whether it's a breakup, a loss in the family, or this, or whatever it is, if they're encouraged, then I've done my job as a storyteller.
Well, thank you for sharing your personal story with us, Mack.
Cool. Thanks for having me on Upbeat.
Oh, exactly what don't bring your Bible bullshit here, son.
I had a one-night stand. So you know I'm innocent.
I didn't say that.
But it's the truth.
I love you!
Truth? It's the law that sets us free, William, not the truth.
With over 30 years of experience within the industry, iconic Australian actor Martin Sachs is known for Blue Heelers, Underbelly, Wentworth and Rake, and is currently shooting Wonderland. He joins us now for a chat about his involvement with Rise and playing the role of inmate Jimmy Cove. Check out the interview and stay tuned for more behind the scenes footage. Tell us about your character in the film.
I played Jimmy Cove, who's a rather hard man. With a very long beard. He's a man who's been inside jail for many years, and so for him, jail is home. And he ends up coming across this young lad by the name of Will, and there's a bond that develops between the two of them. And I think the key within the relationship is they learn from each other. Jimmy learns from Will many lessons, and I think that it's very much a father and son relationship that develops, and he mentors him through some fairly tough times because it's his first time in jail.
What was it like working with up-and-coming actor Nathan Wilson?
Nath was great. Nath was had lots of questions, which is good, and he's enthusiastic, and he's incredibly keen, and he's hardworking, and I think he's got a big future.
How did it feel to portray a character that's based on a real person?
There's always a responsibility. I mean, I've been in that situation before, representing a real character, and there's always a responsibility to get it right and to be as accurate as you can to that person and to be respectful of that person and who they are and to find the essence of the person. But I think that invariably you have to find your own way, and hopefully I did with Jimmy.
Was Rise more than just a film for you?
Rise was an incredible experience. I mean, it was, the one thing I remember is that it's got a lot of heart. And I love the fact that it's not made for a lot of money, and it's a collaborative experience and everyone just mucking in and really just having fun and trying to tell a story quite simply. And a pleasure working with Mack, I mean, we spent a lot of time together talking about it and trying to find ways through, and I just thought that it'd be something I want to be involved with, so here we are.
And what do you think of the final product?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, I think it's, once again, it's a film that's made with not a great deal of money, but a lot of heart, and they're the projects I like to be attached to.
Was there anything personal that you took away from the film?
It just reinforced the fact that I love filmmaking and I love working with small crews, and it's a collaborative experience, and the industry, just being part of that and working with newcomers and people who may not have experienced working on a film before. It's always, it's always you fly by the seat of your pants, there's never enough time, there's never enough this, never that, but sometimes that's when the magic could happen, when you just start rolling and...
when you least expect it.
And you least expect it, something happens, and it was hard work, but I think it was very worth it.
Thanks for joining us, Marty.
Pleasure.